All right, my beauty babes. I am here in this episode today with the fabulous Cameron Hemphill, and he's going to be talking to us a lot about scaling and business and all the big things. But I will let him introduce himself. How are you, Mr. Cameron?
Oh, I'm good. I did a podcast earlier today, and then I've had back-to-back calls. So busy. I live in Florida, though. The sun is shining, but I'm in my office having fun with you. It's good. Life's good.
I love it. I'm in Florida too. Where are you?
I'm in the Panhandle. I'm in between Panama City Beach and Inlet, in Destin, so Inlet Beach.
Oh, I'm East Coast, all the way, like Palm Beach.
Palm Beach. Okay, yeah. It
Yeah.
takes. I've made that drive before. It's 9 hours.
Oh my Lord. Yeah,
It's
that's
a big
rough.
state.
That's
Yeah.
rough. Okay, so tell everybody, how did you get involved with the med spa world? How did that happen?
I know, right? What is the guy with the hat doing in the med spa space? Predominant female industry. Um, I think everybody's got a pretty interesting story on how it happens, and for me, it was definitely unique. My wife has actually been in the beauty industry for 20 years. She's a well respected hairstylist actually, and she does all the fancy extensions, and had her salon for years. And I was always asking her years ago, like, why don't you have like a database of clients, or why don't you manage your calendar on like a online digital system? I come from a CRM background, a business background, a very well organized operator background, tech background, process automation, and entrepreneurship, massive entrepreneurship background. And, it was always interesting to me because I use a lot of technology for real estate. In fact, I ran a very well respected real estate team, Colo Banker in Salt Lake City, Utah for many years. And out of that, I built a tech company to manage real estate brokers because they were a mess. And, I was just, it's just interesting to observe how my wife ran the business. Well, oddly enough, I had a really good friend of mine from high school call me and said, Cam, I'm thinking about buying a med spa. I'm like, cool. Great. What is that?
What
He's
is
like,
that?
you've heard of Botox, right? I'm like, oh yeah, Botox. I think my wife does that. Okay. We're talking 2013. Okay.
Okay.
So this is a while ago, right? And, so now obviously I know all the things, the ins and outs of a med spa. But he was making the acquisition. He wanted me to look at it because I have a very well-known entrepreneurial mind, brain, finance. My acumen there is quite high. And I said, yeah, let's look at it and let's see if there's a way that you can come in and buy it at a discount and wrap it and potentially sell it. I don't know. So I looked under the hood. I thought it was very attractive. It had a really nice brand to it, but they were losing money. And it was actually quite obvious of why. They weren't aligning marketing efforts appropriately. They had very poor Google reviews. Their branding was kind of off in the marketplace. So he made the acquisition. I quickly deployed what I do is a well-respected marketing initiative, nice website, review, feedback loop collection, understand what their inventory costs are, understand what their lease payments are. I advise them to rebrand the entire thing now that they've made the acquisition. This was he finally made the acquisition, I think, in 2014. So he went through the whole entire process. That medical aesthetics practice is called Beauty Lab and Laser.
Mhm.
It's out of Salt Lake City, Utah. In fact, the owners are on the Real Housewives, Heather Gay, Andrea, who run it. They have over 3,000 reviews. The business is probably worth well into the mid eight figures, and they still use. I founded a company called Growth 99 where we power over 2,000 practices. They still use the Growth 99 engine and platform for marketing, for website, for SEO, for ads, for content, for all this stuff, right? And so that's been a really cool, powerful instrument and powerful story to talk about. So throughout that journey, I went to the first AmSpa conference, like the very first one. And this is when you'd walk into the exhibit hall. In the exhibit hall, there was like 9 vendors. And now I was just there last week. There's like 900. It feels like,
Yeah.
it's massive and there's people everywhere and it's crazy. And it's changed a lot. But we have the opportunity to deploy the strategy that we did for Beauty Lab and Laser to over 2,300 providers. And throughout that journey, I actually sold Growth 99 in March of 24 to a strategic investor group. Stayed on for a year, and now I've been consulting and advising. I sit on the board, and I'm a chief operating officer for Terry Ross Consulting. I think she has one of the most well-respected brands and names in the industry, doing some really neat things there. And then I also advise a company called Bridgeline Medical. That is the direct connectivity to GLP-1s and peptide ordering under one rooftop. So essentially, like if you need to order, if you want to get into wellness and you want to order GLPs and peptides, you go to that platform. It has all the 503As and Bs under one rooftop, and you could easily place orders from there. Phenomenal pricing, phenomenal customer service. And I'm a big believer in anti-aging, and so that's one of the things I'm doing as well. And then also I own practices through private equity. So I think like from where I was to where I am now, it's pretty interesting to actually just think about, talk about. So there you
Yeah,
go.
for sure. Like, did you
Yeah.
ever, when you look back and you're like, oh my God, I am in the spa space. Like, how did that happen? Like, do you ever have those moments?
Oh yeah. My wife teases me all the time. She's like, dude, you're like you're the med spa dude. You're the med spa guy. What? I'm
Yeah,
like,
you're
I know,
Mr.
it's
MedSpa.
hilarious. Mr. Med Spa man. And she teases me, but it's obviously been rewarding to our family and rewarding to the industry. And is I was looking back and I'm like, I'm wondering how many appointments we booked. So Growth 99, our North Star metric is
Yeah,
keeping calendars full for providers,
yeah.
right? I still own part of the company, but I don't work there day to day. I sold it. They run it. They're doing great. Um, but it came down to it was over. Geez, man, I can't remember the booking count, but the number count in terms of revenue generated was over $50 million in revenue generated for practice owners through our booking portal. Yeah, so that was, I mean, that's, we've helped out, a lot of providers and generated lots of revenue. So it's been fun.
So, what do you think, after doing this for a while, what is the common thing that you keep seeing that people come to you and they hire those services and they need the help? What is the one thing that they keep getting it wrong?
Well, from a marketing standpoint, is that what you're asking? So from a marketing standpoint, it's look, this is a cash pay ecosystem. You have to be an incredible marketer. You truly do. And I think now more than ever, actually, I still hear people say, I don't feel comfortable on social. I don't feel comfortable on camera. I really think you have to push yourself out there, speak through authority, speak through education, understand what you do. The audience is becoming much more intelligent
Hmm.
uh, from a patient standpoint, right? There's so much information online now that I think if you were a provider selling injectables, fillers, laser treatments 5 years ago versus now. In fact, I was just on a panel this last weekend talking to some of the well-known providers, and they're saying, "Yeah, our audience is tremendously advanced when it comes to the intelligence of what they're looking for." So now, yeah, I think marketing is absolutely. I think it's more critical now than ever. And it's not just, oh, let's get a website, let's get a social, let's get a YouTube. You have to be intentional about what you're putting out there and talking to your ideal customer profile. Um, so if it was me
Hmm.
and I was to go start a practice or buy a practice, um, and I don't want to like sell anything here, but I would go to Growth 99 because they have a one-stop shop for website, for SEO, for spinning up the ads. And then I would either myself or hire somebody to help with my organic social.
Hmm.
So that's that layer.
Yeah.
Um, but then you have to convert it. Once the phone rings or once the lead hits, you have to have a CRM or a lead management system to convert it. And Growth 99 does a great job of that too.
Can you break down what a CRM is? Because I know people listening and watching, they're going to be like, what is that? Is this math? So what is the CRM?
Yeah. Yeah, in simple ways, it's a lead management system that can actually nurture the potential booking. It's the pre-booking environment, right? So you're doing marketing, and someone raises their hand and says, "I'm interested." They fill out a form, or they call the practice. In best case scenario, they book an appointment through online booking. Um, so then it should go into a lead management system to where you can increase the outcome of them actually booking. So your pre-patients sit in CRM, your patients sit in your EMR.
What is EMR?
Well, that's your patient record, right? Like,
We're a bunch of artists.
yeah, sure. Happy to. So your EMR, it's it's your patient record. It's your, it's your medical record system. In fact, I don't think you can run a medical aesthetics practice without an EMR. It's probably illegal. So it's a requirement for patient record charting, compliance, HIPAA, all the things. But it's your foundation. It's your scheduling. It's your charting, your patient data. Um, but it doesn't grow the practice, right? It's a warehouse of information. It can. It's they're getting better. There's some marketing benefits as well on some where you can send out mass emails, mass texts, post appointment follow ups. Um, but your CRM and your marketing engine is what helps grow the practice.
Okay. All right. So now, with all of that heavy stuff, I feel anybody watching or listening, just go contact Cameron for all of this information. Okay, just do it. What do you feel has been, because you talked about selling companies and you're on a board and you're doing these big things for the industry, which is fabulous. But what do you think is your favorite insult that you've gotten that is your driver into everything you're doing? And it could be personal, it could be professional, because this industry is so intertwined with both.
My favorite insult. Well, it's interesting. Okay, being a founder of a company with a serious mission to help so many people, and I founded Growth 99. Okay, I found it. I found the first customer. I found the 500th customer. I built a team. We built it up to uh, massive market penetration. And when you go sell your baby, sell your company, there's a lot of emotion, and you have to be a genius at managing IQ versus EQ, your intelligence versus your emotional intelligence. It's very hard because you're tied to identity. At some point, Growth 99 was me, and I was Growth 99. Like it was just like it was the same. It was
Yeah.
the same.
Yeah.
You become a face, right? Like Michael Jordan is like the face of Air Jordan. Tiger Woods kind of the face of like Nike for golf, I guess, or was. But you become
Oh,
the face. Yeah, or was based on what you just went through for the 18th time or whatever. But it's you become the face. You get wrapped up in the identity of what you're building, and you become attached. Um, and on one hand, when you go through selling a high performing product that has a tremendous amount of value, and that asset is worth a tremendous amount of capital, you want to be financially rewarded for that transaction. But you also need to be careful that when you do transact, what does life look like after that?
Mm-hmm.
And some people think you want to sell it, you move on, go to the beach, play golf. I love those things. But there's also a part where your identity starts to float away from what you just sold. It's very different from selling a house, very different from selling a car. Um, I mean, sometimes people get emotional when they sell a house, right? That's where I raised my kids, where I raised my family. I get it, right? There's memories there. But I mean, a business is like, I worked on it every hour, every day, just hammering it, and it was very emotional to go through that. I decided to stay on for a year, but I hired my C-suite when I did that transaction. I was required to. So I hired a new CEO,
Mm.
and he was my boss. He became my boss of my own company that I founded. Right.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
it was just really hard, like we aligned on a lot of things, and there were some things we didn't align on, which is naturally, what I hear, what happens. And so, I think like from an insult standpoint, there was some ongoing things that I felt insulted. I probably insulted him too. Um, but look, I come from a 10-year history of knowing who these people are and being deeply connected in the network. And I think like the biggest insult, honestly, was going through that experience where the people that I brought in, I thought were supposed to support me and hear from me. And actually, I think that fell on deaf ears, and that I felt like, we got it from here, Cam. It's okay if you leave. And I'm over here thinking, why are you not listening to me? Because when you made this acquisition, you didn't just buy this, you bought me too. You bought my expertise.
Mm-hmm.
You bought my knowledge. And and look, like, we're all good, but I think, like, back to your point, it was, and I think when I convey this back to your audience and who's listening, there is practices transacting right now to private equity. Like, it's happening. It's a great thing. Like, there's a great thing, bad thing, timing is right. If whatever, when you sell your practice, you want to sell it for the most amount of money. Find the right partner. Make sure it's right for you. Make sure the deal structure is right for you. Because these individuals that you sell to, they're very bright, they're very smart, they're Ivy League guys, but at the same time, they don't know your patient like you do. They never will. They just look at P&L's, balance sheets, right? And they're from a financial acumen, business acumen standpoint, they're great. But you also need to vet them as much as they vet you.
Yeah. So what should spa owners, what should they be looking for? Because you mentioned that you had to hire a CEO, a new, like, you were the CEO, you were the guy, and then you had to replace yourself. What do people need to look for to make sure that this legacy that they have built from the ground up continues in a way that they'll be able to sleep at night?
Yeah. No, it's a good question. It's you have to be ready and prepared for it. And I would have, whatever your next move is, I would start looking at what your next move is. So if a PE group comes in and buyers a practice, typically they're going to want that provider to stay. Like, especially if that provider is bringing in, $1 million a year in revenue. In fact, like, that's a massive requirement because of what they call as key man risk. They don't want to make an acquisition. Let's say the practice does $2 million a year and two providers are bringing in 80% of the revenue. Those two providers bail, the business is like just lost 80% of the revenue. Right. So, you have to realize what life looks like after acquisition, and your bank account looks very attractive, but all it is just digits on a screen, and there's life outside of that, and you need to make sure that you are prepared for that. Look, I know people that have gone through, like, tremendous amount of emotional stress, and I know some people that have ended their lives after they've sold their company, and they're wealthy. It's so I think just be prepared for what life looks like after that, and be serious about it, and know what that looks like, because you're not the one that's calling the shots. You're still part of the team, and maybe you call some of the shots, but you have to be okay with bringing in new partners, and be prepared for that, and be open minded, and have a tremendous amount of communication, upfront conversations with your peers and the people that come in. Because what's interesting is everybody is aligned. They all want to grow the business. That's why they bought it. So you're actually aligned, even though personalities and conflict and um, maybe different positioning of the market and how you do things is different. You have to just realize that people have a different approach and they have different personalities, but you actually are aligned by the end of the day by wanting to grow the business. And so, yeah, just experiment with what life looks like after acquisition.
So let's kind of dive into that, because I don't feel a lot of people in the industry even talk about that, whether on the hair side or the spa side. It's almost like people are afraid to exit, to close this chapter, because it is such a strong identity, whether you're a stylist or a med esthetician. How do they mentally prepare? Because that's the big
Yeah.
part, right? How do they mentally prepare to continue to the next thing that they're going to do?
Well, I think if you're selling it to, let's say you own a business and you're not a producer, meaning you're not bringing in the income from
Yeah.
patients or clients,
Okay.
you could sell that at 100%. Like, they'll just buy 100% of the business, and you could walk away. And if you build your business that way, and you're like, I just own it, the stylist, the providers, whoever brings in all the revenue, it's a wonderful profile for someone to come in. In fact, they prefer to buy that because they can buy an asset that runs by itself. In those cases, you sell 100% and you're ready. You're emotionally ready to sell. You're ready to move on with your life.
Mm-hmm.
Get a nice fat check, 100%. You're out by. I think that's a much easier transaction. But in most cases, that doesn't take place. They'll give you a valuation. Let's say it's a $10 million valuation for sake of numbers. And they will typically give you 50 to 70% cash up front. So you sell it for 10, you get 5 million. You roll the additional 5 million into the new co. So now you have a lot of skin in the game in the new co, and you're betting on the new management to actually help you take it to the next level so you can sell it in 3, 4, 5 years, whatever the time horizon is. You just have to be prepared that the business is never going to run the same after acquisition. But at the end of the day, they all want to grow it and deliver great outcomes to the patients and the clients. You just have to be okay with bringing in new partners. I would have conversations with people that have gone through it and ask them what they would do differently. What were some of the positives and some of the negatives that they went through and what they would do differently.
Okay. Okay. What has been your biggest failure, and what did you learn?
It's a big question. I don't fail. No, just kidding.
I have been waiting for somebody to tell me that.
No. I don't know if I could pinpoint it actually. I do. I think I could have started earlier. I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. I've always been pretty successful, but I became very successful when I was 33, 34, 35, and then accelerated up very, very rapidly up to 39. Actually, I sold my business. I sold Growth 99 when I was 39 years old. But I could have, let's just say, got my shit together in my early 20s, or let's just maybe mid to late 20s. Because the knowledge is there, the drive is there, but I think that there's certain things that can distract you, such as friends, such as fancy objects, maybe chasing girls or whatever that us dumb boys do. I think like living life and doing what you're doing in your early 20s and living and exploring and realizing you have time is important. But I also think that if you look at, let's just take like investing for an example. I started like truly investing in like stocks, real estate, 28, 29 years old.
Nice.
And I've never looked back. But depressingly, if I had ran those calculations and started at age 18, I would have 3 times the amount of wealth that I do now.
Mm-hmm.
And and so, like, I guess my advice would be start your intelligent layer of investing through finance earlier than later, right? Because it's actually quite easy it's very easy to become wealthy. It's actually, it's too easy. That's why people always try to get rich quick, because they don't want to do it the slow way. And the slow way is actually easy. You just, at age 18, you go and you buy the index, the S&P 500 index, and you buy it every single month. You just dollar cost average it every single month. And I'm a big believer that you should live on 50% of your income, and the other 50 goes to savings, and then a big chunk of that savings, actually, in my suggestion, all of it should go to an investing vehicle that's going to pay you a return on capital. And it's all about compounding. And so if you do the math, if you were to invest $1,000 a month from 18 until the age of 50 and compound that at a 10% rate, I mean, you're going to be a millionaire no matter what. Right. So, I think
it
it's
really comes down to like time versus money. That question all the time, right?
Yeah.
Like, what would you rather have, time or money? Oh, very interesting. Very interesting. So then what's the myth, the common myth that you get all the time about what you do?
About what I do in the market for aesthetics, or what do you?
Everything, everything, because it's all connected. Like all of this
Yeah,
knowledge that you're putting down has helped
yeah,
so many med spa owners, and that's your authority right there. So, so,
yeah,
so all of it. Like, what is the misconception here?
yeah. I mean, I think like well, I'll give you a good example. I was recently at AmSpa. Their conference was like last week, and it was a few days ago. And I'm on a panel, and the panel is around. There's two providers on there. Boulevard was on there, and I was on there. And they go down there like, "Hey, introduce yourself." And I'm over here literally thinking, because I thought she was going to introduce us, and I'm over here thinking like, okay, let's introduce myself. Like, are we just going to go on the laundry list of what I do? How, okay, so I'm just like, I built a company, Growth 99, sold it to a strategic investor group. I have a podcast, the Medical Millionaire Podcast. Tune in if you haven't, because I was actually I struggled to come up with what I do. I guess you could say I'm a growth strategist, or I'm a wonderful marketer, or I'm a tech guy, or I'm an investor, or I'm an entrepreneur, or I I own cryptocurrency, I own real estate, I own stocks, so it's
All
like
these things, yeah.
I'm a dad, I'm a husband, like all these things, and I think like I've gotten wrapped up with like, holy cow, I guess I've accomplished a lot. But I think from a practice owner or a clinic owner standpoint, you're obviously in business for two things. You're in business 100% to make money. Anybody that says otherwise is lying through their teeth. And hopefully, you're in business to do the right thing, which is to give a great result, right? And you want to please people, especially in this industry. I think that's like the passion of getting the smile and getting the patient or the client to say, "Oh my gosh, I feel good, I look good. Thank you so much. You're so wonderful. I love you. I'm gonna tell my friends and family everything about you." Like that feels wonderful. And then your bank account, that's like you're literally trading time for dollars. You're leaving your family to go do it, so you obviously want a return on that time, which is money. But where they get caught up is like their lifestyle doesn't change, or sorry, their lifestyle starts to change once their business grows. So money starts to flow in, and unfortunately, we live in an environment, a world where we like things and items and materials, and I think you can easily get caught up through social media. I need that purse. I need those shoes. I need that vacation. I need more, 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 more. And as your business grows, your expenses grow with it, and so look, I don't really teach finance. I'm not, I don't give that advice. I'm not licensed to give that advice, but I have been investing for a very long time. And, it's one of the most rewarding things I can do is actually buy part of the economy. I buy it every 2 weeks, and I've watched that grow into a snowball that is unstoppable. It's like unpenetratable, and I would encourage all practice owners to start thinking that way.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
you don't have to spend all your money on materials. Take a piece of it and turn it into something that creates a snowball effect where you can watch it compound.
Yeah. All right. So now, with all of that, because it is kind of heavy, what, how do you nourish yourself? Mind, body, soul? How do you take care of Cameron?
Yeah. Well, I just do podcasts every single day. So no, just kidding. um, well, I'm an early riser, and I'm definitely a habit of or a creature of habit, routine,
Mm,
big time, big time. I don't know where it came from, but I'm definitely like OCD for sure. Like my house is always spotless, my office is always clean. Maybe it came from having an unorganized childhood. I don't know, but I wake up super early. My alarm goes off at 4:20 a.m. Monday through Friday, and it's not because I need to roast a bull or anything for 4:20. It's because it's there's a reason for it
Yeah.
because look, I hit snooze once, and that's 9 minutes on the iPhone. So then I actually get up at 4:29. I like to be up at 4:30, right? And I like have a crazy routine. I just do, and it's I have my mushroom coffee.
Nice.
I have my goals that I go through. I stretch. I roll. I have one of those lacrosse balls that I get in my
Yes.
back.
Those are
And
major.
that thing has saved my life. My gosh. So I do that. I do this every single morning. I go through my goals. I do a prayer. I do manifestation, where I go through like myself and my family, and I go through that whole process every single morning. And my gym opens at 5:30, so I drive to the gym. Uh, I work out there. I'm usually the first one there, and I work out. I run, and then I go to the sauna and I do a cold plunge. I come home, protein shake, take the kids to school, come back to the office, and so that's literally Monday through Friday how it goes. And I feel like that's my time. That's my nourishing time. That's what fuels me. And then even on the weekends, most people don't set alarms for the weekends. I do. I get up at 5 a.m. on the weekends, and it's not because I'm like the coolest, baddest guy. We got to go, go, go. It's what I get done on Saturday morning between 5 a.m. and 8:30. I'm going to crush everybody. It's because they're sleeping in, they're hungover, whatever the hell they're doing. I don't know. I don't care. It's not my deal. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But there's no emails, there's no phone calls, there's everything's just calm,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I like it's everything that I almost like didn't want to do for the week.
Hmm.
I just knock it out in those hours, and then the family gets up and we spend our time together. Or I'm lucky enough to play golf. I love golf. I go to the beach, love the beach. Um, yeah, and that's also Sunday too. So, I think like it's that morning repetitive discipline, uh, that keeps us going, and I would say that that's what helps me stay nourished.
Absolutely. And I heard you say prayer. So are you is faith a big deal for you? Or is
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
exactly.
Yeah,
Okay.
faith's a big deal. We come in spurts. Like we were hitting church every single Sunday. I feel like summertime throws us for a loop. If we travel, throws us for a loop. Right now we hit 2 Sundays a month, and our church is phenomenal. In fact, I have my daughters. One is 9, one is 12. I think it was last summer or the summer before. We all got baptized in the ocean together.
How beautiful. Oh my goodness. Yes. I love that.
Yeah, it was magical for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think like that's a big piece of importance to us and our family, and who we are, and our family values keeps us connected,
Hmm.
especially with girls. Girls, my gosh, 2 daughters, and they're getting older. um you know I, they don't have phones, not allowed to have phones, and but social media, their friends have it and all this stuff, and you know boys are around the corner. So I think it's really important to bring God into their life, and to bring faith and humility into their life, and just really any way I can delay something from a boy, I'm gonna do it. Just who I am as a dad.
I will say one thing though, that in all of that self nourishment, which is so important no matter what industry you're in, I did not hear that you get a facial, a monthly facial.
Shit.
How important is that for you, being Mr. MedSpa?
Yeah, you know what? You bring up a great point, because I'm okay at getting treatments done. I mean, I take the peptides. I took my trizepatide, microdose this morning. In fact, I was just in Utah, so I still have a house in Utah.
Okay.
My family's there. We go there either spring break. It's kind of funny. You live at the beach. Now I go to the snow for spring break, which there was no snow there this year, so whatever.
It's okay. The
But
West is being revived, so this is cool.
yeah,
Good.
yeah. I went to Beauty Lab and Laser. I had 78 units of Botox done. And then I also had some filler put in my chin. My wife says, I want you to get the chin to win. I think I maybe need some more. So, but I'm like the guy that goes every 3 months. So maybe that's okay. I do get a massage once a month. The lady comes to the
Yeah.
house.
Nice, nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I do have a gal that cooks for me every single day. So that's legit.
Cool. Love that.
Well, she comes on Monday mornings. She cooks all the meals for the week,
Nice.
right down to the macros and everything. And she goes grocery shopping. Gosh, it's the best thing ever.
I'm
So
working on my macros
yeah,
too, and I'm dying. It's driving me crazy.
I hear you. I hear you. It's yeah, when the carb intake is low, um, yeah, I definitely get hangry.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
So what else? Did I cut you off? I'm sorry.
you're good. Go
No?
ahead.
Okay. So what is how can people get in contact with you to work with you for their spas, their businesses? How can they reach out?
Yeah, sure. You could go to my personal website. It's CameronHemphill.com. You guys can just go Google me. You'll find my Instagram, YouTube. You'll find the website there. You know, I would say if you're a practice that is looking to grow, looking to help your staff convert more bookings, help your providers do more in the treatment room, do more in the consultation process. Maybe there's opportunity there to actually invest in education on what a true consultation looks like. On my website, you'll see Terry Ross Consulting. She is the best in the business. Again, I'm the COO there. And so that's one of the things you do. If you're looking to get in GLPs and peptides on my website, go find Bridgeline Medical. They are amazing. I mean, I vet these people like you wouldn't believe. And if you just want to connect, chat, podcast, rap, roll, play golf, hit me up. All good.
Do it. Okay, so before we wrap up, what is one question that I did not ask you that you wish I would have, and how would you have answered?
Oh, geez. You're just drilling me. Maybe ask me how my golf game's doing.
Oh, there we go. How is it?
Well, it could be better. It can always be better. It can always be better. Yeah, I have learned something recently that I'm never going to come back from a conference and play golf on a Monday ever again.
Ooh, no, no.
Yeah, bad idea. Bad idea.
Yeah.
So I've learned that if I play Friday afternoons, the birdies start to fall. Mondays, there's some double bogeys on the card.
Those conferences, they suck the life out of you, like in every
They do.
way.
Yeah. But it's a match. I'm in this league, and if you don't play for the week, you forfeit. So I had to play. Oh my gosh, it was a bad golf day.
It was bad mental health. That was a bad mental health day.
It was supposed to be positive. That's why you go, but no,
That's why you
didn't work.
go. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. Cameron, thank you for
So
coming on the BeautyPro podcast. This has been I love it so much because there's so much information, and I'm really excited for everybody to hear it and to get inspired by it.
totally. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it, and hopefully we'll have another discussion.
Yeah. Thank you everybody for watching. I will talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.